This video today was requested by the Discord server. If you want to have your say in future videos, then join the server with the link down below in the description. Arguably one of Death Battle's most controversial results came in a battle between Toph and Gaara. The reason they gave for Toph winning has been memed in the community for years now, and with a video like this you might just expect me to fully explain why they are wrong in their assessment of the battle, and while I guess I will be to a certain extent, I'm here to fully explain why Toph and Gaara are both downplayed when people look at this matchup at least, and explain why you can make this a debate if you take certain things into account. If you're going to enjoy this video and you want to see more Naruto and Avatar content, then make sure to hit the like button down below, comment below your opinions on the matchup, and let's just get into it. I think that any sane Avatar fan would admit that even Gaara and Shippuden would beat Toph with close to no effort. I mean, at the very beginning of the series, he was shown being able to block a bomb that was going to destroy an entire city with his sand alone. He could also casually, cause tons upon tons of sand to fly up into the air in an explosion of sorts. An attack so large that in order to match it, you need almost 100 megatons of TNT in order to match it. That being enough power to destroy an entire city, so it's not much of a surprise that people think that Gaara's a beast. It doesn't even stop there. He was able to hold the Gendo Mado chakra chain and stop it from pulling Shikaku. The fact that Gaara even remotely scales to Shikaku is important because Bijou like Shikaku can level mountains with a single blast easily, and can even make bombs which can cause explosions that are equal to 64.4 gigatons of TNT, or the high end of being able to destroy islands. This level of power isn't quite alien to the Avatar verse, with avatars being able to split islands, cause numerous volcano explosions, and even carry large land masses with them, which can range between islands to entire continents, but there's no evidence that Toph really scales to this level of power. In Boruto it gets even crazier, as Gaara, well yes he was getting his ass kicked, was relatively able to keep up with Momoshiki. Momoshiki at this point fused with Kinshiki, who was stated capable of splitting entire planets with his power, and of course I can get into why Momoshiki is an absolute beast as well and how powerful he is, but even just that statement alone is enough to, have Gaara being able to one-shot Toph. Gaara should also scale to the Raikage, who was stated able to move at the speed of light. Needless to say, Toph doesn't really stand a chance, and I think even Avatar fans could admit that. That said though, why did I say at the beginning of this video that this could be a debate? Well, that's because we haven't gotten to Gaara during part 1 of Naruto. I've heard some people still say that Gaara in part 1 would destroy Toph, but let me explain why Toph is actually pretty powerful. Toph's earthbending is superior to Aang's, who could throw large rocks with power to equal 35 tons of TNT, or enough power to destroy entire city blocks. There's also a feat from a group of waterbenders freezing a Fire Nation ship. These ships are so huge that in order to do what they did, you need the power equal to 120.9 kilotons of TNT, or enough to destroy entire large towns. If you split up into individual members, then a singular random waterbender should be able to output power equal to 4.8 kilotons of TNT, which is still enough to destroy small towns. Toph should scale higher than at least low end, bare minimum, as she is fairly powerful. Gaara, meanwhile, has an attack named the Quicksand Waterfall Flow, which can output power equal to 14.9 kilotons of TNT, or also enough to destroy towns. With this, Toph can actually be scaled to be stronger than Gaara. This is also Gaara's sand too. Physically, he's much weaker, as his best feat was being able to draw blood from Temari, who should massively upscale from Sasuke at the beginning of the story, who kicked a very large bear with enough power to equal 12.2 tons of TNT. That said, Gaara has a transformation which massively amps his power, as he was unaffected by Sasuke's attacks, who previously tore through Gaara's sand like butter. He can even summon Shikaku at this time, and as we've already went over, we already know how powerful he is, so realistically when it comes to power, Toph and Gaara are actually pretty much relative, at least until Shikaku is introduced. When it comes to speed, and it's a bit more complicated, I mean, not for Toph, as she scales to characters like Base Aang, who is fast enough to catch and redirect lightning that travels at 270,000 miles per hour. The complicated part comes with Gaara. Gaara is able to relatively keep up with Sasuke, who uses a Chidori as an attack. The Chidori is a lightning-based attack, so he should relatively scale to this. This is further backed up when you consider the fact that Kakashi, as a kid, could cut a lightning bolt mid-air. This doesn't even get on to transformed Gaara, who would be much faster. He should also scale to Kurama-influenced Naruto, who could fight Haku. Haku is stated to fly between mirrors at the speed of light. Now, you can make the argument that light speed Naruto in part 1 is a bit of a stretch. However, even if you don't take that, Gaara would still be faster, at least in his transformed state. Gaara also has many abilities that, Toph doesn't have. Toph's abilities consist of ki manipulation, as ki is the source of a user's bending, earth manipulation, or metal bending, sand bending, and seismic sense. While you can argue that Toph is more precise than Gaara when it comes to manipulating sand, Gaara simply has more abilities which would give him the edge in versatility. Gaara as an acrobat has chakra manipulation, has multiple cells due to Shikaku being inside of him. He has statistics amplification, as ninja are capable of enhancing their physical capabilities through the use of chakra, and being able to enhance their speed. They can scale walls, have water walking, they can create minor illusions / duplications with the clone technique, shape-shifting as well, he has paralysis inducement, along with air manipulation, electricity manipulation, earth manipulation, body control, sand manipulation, all with different types of releases. He has instinctive reaction, as his sand will protect him independently of his will. He can create barriers with his sand, he has extrasensory perception with third eye. He can fly with his sand, he can seal people away. He has sleep manipulation on himself, as he can force himself to fall asleep in order for Shikaku to take control. He has soul manipulation and non-physical interaction with chakra arms, as tailed beast chakra arms are capable of interacting with the soul, along with resistance to paralysis inducement, body puppetry, and possession, as Bijou and Jinchuriki are capable of resisting the binding effects and control of the Renegon's black receivers. So all in all, how would this fight go? Well, Toph certainly has many advantages. You could very easily argue she just manipulates Gaara's sand to dodge her punches, as she physically beats Gaara to death before he transforms. You can even use the surroundings to her advantage in a way that Gaara can't with metal bending. That said, though, as soon as Gaara transforms, they are bare minimum on par with each other in terms of physical stats, and Gaara would be faster. So without even bringing hacks into it, Gaara would edge out Toph in that regard. Gaara could also very easily just attack Toph's soul, seal her away, or even use his ability to paralyze Toph in place and beat her that way. He could even make himself stronger and faster than he already is in his base state, so that's the way you could argue that he could win even in base. Since you could argue that Toph would be stronger, it's not by an insane amount, and they are very close in speed, so that's why Gaara would probably be able to get the best of Toph in that regard. And if Shikaku comes out, then Toph is really screwed. And that's really it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys can also see that part 1 Gaara versus Toph can at least be a debate, even if Gaara still wins. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.